I'm just an ordinary housewife, but I have an unusual relationship with my mother-in-law. We both like the same singer and very close friends. My husband's sister, Jessica, is stunningly beautiful and very capable at her job. However, my husband's mother was forced into a nursing home by her own daughter's scheme. When we noticed her madness, we were shocked. My name is Lisa. I'm 46 years old. My husband, Michael, is 2 years older. Our daughter, Emily, is 19, and we live with my 78-year-old mother-in-law, Mary. We live in a small house in the suburbs of New York. Michael is a businessman, I work part-time, and our daughter is a college freshman. We're a pretty ordinary family, but maybe what sets us apart is how close I am with my mother-in-law, Mary. I got married when I was 26. At that time, my father-in-law was still alive. He and Mary were a very close couple, and I used to tell Michael I hope we become a couple like them. There are stories about battles between daughters-in-laws and mothers-in-law, but I felt a great first impression of her and thought we could get along well. It seemed Mary felt the same way. Shortly after our wedding, something happened that cemented our bond. When I was cleaning my in-laws' room, I couldn't believe my eyes. There was a huge poster of a celebrity I loved, beautifully framed and displayed. Isn't this lovely? I've been a huge fan of his since I was young. The man in the poster was a famous American singer from the 70s, and I exclaimed, "Me too!" I saw old footage of his performances on a nostalgic music show and got completely hooked. Oh, Lisa, even though you're young, don't you think he was truly charming in his younger days? Yes, I've never seen someone so beautiful and sexy. His voice and songs are amazing. He's gotten quite old now, but the fact that he's still performing makes me so happy. Since then, Mary and I became fan buddies, cheering on the same celebrity. Mary showed me her treasures, records, CDs, photo books, and fan club newsletters. We even watched old music shows on video together and had a great time. My father-in-law and husband often looked at us with a mix of amusement and disbelief. Despite that, we lived a calm and happy life, and soon our daughter Emily was born. However, in our 15th year of marriage, my father-in-law passed away. He had always had a weak liver and had been hospitalized several times due to cirrhosis. Despite our advice to cut down on drinking, his condition worsened. Mary was deeply saddened, and watching her broke my heart. I love my father-in-law too, so it was truly painful. Michael has an older sister, Jessica, who's 2 years older. Upon hearing the news of her father's passing, Jessica rushed over to help. Lisa, thank you for looking after our father. Leave the funeral arrangements to me, Jessica kindly offered. She was incredibly beautiful and very capable, not resembling Michael much. I had met her a few times at family gatherings, including our wedding, and each time I thought, what a beautiful woman. Jessica handled the funeral perfectly, with great beauty and remarkable skill. She smoothly managed the guests, coordinating even with older relatives to ensure everything went well. It may seem inappropriate to say, but Jessica, in her mourning attire, looked like a queen overseeing the ceremony. All we had to do, Mary, Michael, and I, was to simply grieve. She's amazing, isn't she? Everything is so perfect.
Yeah, my sister has always been perfect,
he replied in a small voice. Michael had a complicated expression, perhaps having been compared to his perfect sister since childhood. Being siblings of different genders may have made it easier, but if they were the same, it would have been tougher. Only our middle school-aged daughter, Emily, seemed wary of Jessica, saying, Aunt Jessica is kind of scary, and kept her distance. After our father-in-law's death, Jessica started coming over frequently. Given how close their parents were, I thought she was worried about her widowed mother. Every time she came, Jessica would bring thoughtful gifts like famous sweets or trendy treats. I thought people who are capable also have great taste in gifts. She always showed consideration for me, saying, I'm sorry to leave all the care of our parents to you after getting married. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'm here to help. One day I saw Jessica cleaning the upper shelves of our kitchen cabinets. Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica, I called out, seeing her flustered a bit. It's hard for you and Mary, being so petite, to clean up here, isn't it? Feel free to ask me any time. Looking back now, she might have been searching for something, but at the time, I just thought she was being kind. Jessica was also kind to my daughter, Emily. Emily, why don't you come shopping for clothes with your aunt? I have 2 boys, so it's my dream to go shopping for girls' clothes. However, my daughter wasn't interested in girly clothes and replied curtly, No thanks. Oh, but you're so cute. You'd look even more adorable in girly clothes. Why do girls have to be cute? That sounds like something an old lady would say. I turned pale at Emily's words. The term old lady wasn't referring to her aunt, but was used to insult middle-aged women. Emily, why would you say such a thing? I raised my voice to scold her.
Oh, it's fine. It's a difficult age, right? I'm sorry, Emily,
she said with a beautiful smile. But I noticed Jessica's eyes glaring at Emily for a brief moment. I remembered Emily saying, Aunt Jessica is scary during the funeral, and it all made sense.
Mary still has that poster up, even at her age?
One day, Jessica remarked to me. Really? Well, I'm also a huge fan of his, so Mary and I are fan buddies.
A fan of a grandpa? He's as old as Mary, right?
Yes, but his old footage is still so wonderful, and his voice and songs are amazing, I replied. Jessica's expression, which I had never seen before, was somewhat twisted and strained.
Oh, that sounds creepy,
she said. I wasn't sure what she meant by that, whether she was referring to being a fan of an older celebrity or watching old footage on the internet. But one thing was clear. She didn't find it amusing that Mary and I were fans of the same person. Jessica used to visit once every 2 weeks, but her visits gradually became less frequent, and lately she hasn't shown up for over 6 months. I was slightly relieved about that. It's not something specific, but being around Jessica is exhausting. She's always got a perfect smile, speaks confidently, and has a very captivating voice and presence. And she's incredibly beautiful, leaving no room for criticism. If I ever said anything negative about her, people would probably think I was just jealous. Neither Michael nor Mary said it out loud, but I think they also felt relieved that Jessica stopped coming over. It's hard to explain, but there's an overwhelming pressure that doesn't allow for any argument. As if she was saying, everything beautiful and perfect I say is right. Although she never actually said anything like that, Emily seemed especially relieved Jessica wasn't visiting anymore. The atmosphere is so tense whenever she's around, Emily said. Since I worked part-time, Mary handled most of the cleaning and laundry. But one day, while she was bringing in the laundry to her room, she slipped and fell halfway down the stairs, breaking her leg. When I came home from work, I found Mary at the bottom of the stairs, and I was terrified, so I called an ambulance. I'm really in trouble now getting hospitalized, she said cheerfully, trying to lighten the mood. Despite her bright demeanor, our family was all worried. Even Jessica rushed to the hospital.
Mom is already old, and if something happens when she's alone, it'll be a big problem, she said, sounding concerned. But I felt like she was subtly blaming me. Jessica seemed to be visiting the hospital daily, and whenever I went to see Mary, Jessica was there. Given what's happened, I've been looking for a good nursing home for Mom, Jessica announced.
What? I was taken aback. We never considered putting Mary in a nursing home. Why would she need a nursing home? She'll be fine once her fracture heals. Emily expressed her strong opposition.
I know, but Lisa, you need to work because of Emily's tuition, right? I can't always be here, so I think everyone would feel more at ease if she were in a proper facility.
Hearing this, Emily fell silent, feeling frustrated. And I'll do more part-time jobs and pay for my tuition myself.
That's counterproductive. What's the point of going to college then?
Jessica said, sounding exasperated. Michael's income isn't particularly low compared to others his age, but Emily wants to become a veterinarian, so her tuition fees are high.
I'll cover the entry fee, she said. After all, my brother has been taking care of our mother. I found a great nursing home. You should go check it out.
She handed me a brochure. Are you really okay with this, Mary? I asked. Well, considering how much trouble I've caused this time, I think it's best to follow Jessica's suggestion, she replied. I turned to Michael. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, if Mom thinks it's best,
he replied, seemingly indifferent. I couldn't believe Michael's attitude.
Don't worry, you'll feel at ease once you see the place. It's a great facility,
Jessica said confidently. Reluctantly, I agreed. All right, Michael and I will visit on our next day off and then decide. Jessica works in direct sales, selling health and beauty products. She buys them at a membership price and sells them at retail to make a profit. Being beautiful and competent, Jessica seemed to have quite a sales record. I could see why. If someone as stunning as Jessica recommended health and beauty products, people would be inclined to buy them. Moreover, she's a good speaker, so her sales performance makes sense. Still, is it okay to let her pay the entire entry fee? Doesn't Michael have any pride as a son or as a man?
If Jessica's offering, it's fine,
he said, without enthusiasm, making me feel sad. How can he be so indifferent about his own mother? Dad, Grandma, what's wrong with both of you? Why are you so easily swayed by Aunt Jessica? Emily accused.
You know, I had a pet bird when I was a kid.
Michael suddenly changed the topic. What? I thought, puzzled by the abrupt change.
It was very affectionate, but one day when I came back from school, it was gone. Jessica said she opened the cage to feed it, and it escaped. She told me my favorite toys and drawings were missing too.
Why bring that up now, I wondered.
It was heartbreaking. Then in middle school I picked up a stray cat, and after begging my parents, they let me keep it. It was closest to me, and I loved it dearly. But one day I came home from school and it was gone. Jessica says she gave it away to a friend who desperately wanted a cat, but she never told me the friend's name or address.
What happened to the cat? Emily asked.
I don't know, he said. I was scared of Jessica. I was afraid to ask what happened to the cat. Jessica can't stand it when someone else gets attention, he continued. Michael seemed genuinely afraid. In high school, Michael had a girlfriend who broke up with him. Jessica had filled her head with all sorts of things, pretending to be concerned. That's exactly it. Aunt Jessica always says she's doing things for your benefit, but really, she's just manipulating things to go her way. I had a few instances in mind that seemed to fit that pattern. Aunt Jessica is probably a psychopath. When you think of a psychopath, you might imagine a serial killer or a criminal, but that's rare. Most are very charming, charismatic, skilled at manipulation, and adept at lying. They don't understand people's feelings and don't empathize, so they don't care if they hurt others as long as it's in their interest, Emily explained. Many such individuals are socially successful because of these traits. We couldn't figure out why Jessica wanted to put Mary in a nursing home, but we decided to check out the nursing home that Jessica recommended. It was a very nice place with a large green area, new and clean buildings, plenty of staff, and the residents looked happy. If Michael hadn't told me about Jessica's strange behavior, I might have thought this place was good. But we were determined to oppose putting Mary in a nursing home, and we planned to discuss it thoroughly after she was discharged. Then Jessica called to inform us that Mary was set to be discharged. We went to the hospital that day, but the nurse told us Mary was discharged the day before. Shocked, I called Jessica. Oh, Mary has already moved into the nursing home. We had to move her a day early because of their entry requirements.
We were momentarily speechless, unsure how to react. She didn't even get to come home for a day before moving into a nursing home? I shouted.
If she came back home, she might not want to go to the home. So we had no choice,
she said matter-of-factly. We decided to go to the nursing home Jessica had introduced, intending to speak directly to Mary. However, when we got there, Mary wasn't there. The staff said there was no resident by that name. In disbelief, I called Mary. Mary, where are you? I asked, surprised. She answered the phone. At the nursing home, she replied. Something didn't add up. The address Mary gave was completely different from the one Jessica mentioned. It was late at night, so the next day we headed to the nursing home Mary mentioned. It was a dilapidated building, clearly different from the one Jessica had shown us. The staff seemed overwhelmed, and the entire building reeked of a foul odor. We thought Mary had her own room, but she was in a shared room with 3 other beds and a small cupboard. Why is this place different from what we heard? I whispered to Mary, trying to avoid disturbing the other residents. Grandma, let's go home, Emily whispered. That's when we heard about Jessica's horrible plan. She wanted to manipulate people to suit her own interests, even her own family. We realized just how abnormal her behavior was. But we couldn't let her have her way. We had to stand up to Jessica's unreasonable actions. Michael, freed from his sister's control, joined us in planning our next steps. We found out from the nursing home staff that Mary was only there for a trial stay and hadn't signed a formal contract yet. Jessica had deceived us by showing us a great facility and then lied to the hospital to have Mary moved to a different home. Let's proceed as planned, I said. That day I instructed Mary to call Jessica. Jessica, I can't stand this place anymore. I want out. I want to go home, Mary pleaded through tears. It wasn't an act. Mary genuinely wanted to return home, and it broke my heart.
All right, then tell me where you keep the property deed. That's the condition.
Okay. Just get me out of here, Mary agreed.
Don't lie to me. If you do, you'll regret it,
Jessica threatened, unaware we were listening in. Hearing her voice through the speaker, which sounded cheerful, only made her seem more deranged. A few minutes later, Jessica called me.
Mary just called, crying, saying she doesn't want to stay in the nursing home,
Jessica said.
It's tough dealing with an old lady who changes her mind all the time, but I can't ignore her tears. I'm sorry, Lisa, but could you go pick her up?
Her tone would make anyone think she was a caring daughter. I agreed and informed the nursing home staff that the trial stay was over. We brought Mary back home, and she was overjoyed to be back after 3 months. The first thing she did was greet the poster in her room with a cheerful "I'm back," which made us laugh. The next day, Jessica came to the house. We subtly left Mary and Jessica alone and observed from a distance. "The deed is in a safe deposit box at the bank," Mary said in a barely audible voice.
I see. So where's the key?
She asked, oblivious to my presence. My turn now, I stepped in. "We told you the location of the deed as promised."
What?
Jessica was startled to see me suddenly appear. It was the first time I'd seen such an expression on her face. The condition for Mary's release from the nursing home was to reveal the location of the deed, right? "We never agreed to tell you where the key is," I said confidently.
What are you talking about? That kind of sophistry won't work,
Jessica snapped. "It's not sophistry. Using a nursing home to blackmail your own mother for the deed is unforgivable."
Jessica, you said you'd pay for the nursing home fees, but you only paid for the trial period, didn't you? You probably thought Mom would break down after a month there, he continued.
"And you tricked Mom and Dad into thinking it was a legitimate home," Emily added without mercy. Jessica remained unfazed, as if this was normal.
You all are so naive. What if something happens to Mom and we don't know where the deed is? She's never told me, no matter how many times I've asked. Of course, I take measures to make sure she'd tell me, she said, her thoughts completely unhinged. "So that's why you were cleaning every corner of her house," I finally realized. She frequently visited searching for the deed, but couldn't find it and decided to wait for the right moment. She saw Mary's fracture and hospitalization as an opportunity. You separated Mom from us, visited her daily, and convinced her, Michael added. What are you talking about? This sounds like a conspiracy theory. You all sound crazy.
Jessica showed no remorse for her actions. If someone who doesn't know the situation heard this, they might think we were in the wrong. "Jessica would tell me every day that it would be better for Michael, Lisa, and Emily if I went into a facility. She said I'm just causing trouble, getting older, and becoming less useful," Mary continued, sounding defeated. "It's unforgivable to use someone's feelings and love in such a way. Mary, you are not a burden. Never think that." "Yeah, Grandma," Emily added passionately. "You're right. I realized after staying there that it's much better to be at home. Over there, I couldn't listen to the music I love or watch my favorite videos." Was this unexpected twist meant to lighten the tension? I wondered. "Yes, let's watch the old recordings together again," I chimed in.
Ugh, that's creepy.
Jessica spat, looking disgusted.
"I didn't even know about the deed or the property,"
Michael said. "Same here," I added.
"That's why you're so naive. Grandpa had the land, Dad inherited it, and he must have had the deed. Now that Dad's gone, only Mom and I know about it. If she dies without telling us where it is, what will you do?"
That might be true, but the way you went about finding out is just insane.
"I heard from my brother that you have a lot of debt, Jessica."
What? I was surprised. Michael had been in contact with his brother, gathering information. Jessica's work seemed to be going well, but she had been buying products herself to keep up sales.
"I have no choice. Keeping sales up is tough. If they drop, I don't get bonuses, so I have to maintain them, even at my own expense."
What's the point of doing something like that? It's like a vicious cycle.
"I can't lose to younger newcomers in sales,"
she said, revealing her vanity. I understood now. Jessica, even as a beauty, was already 50. She still looked stunning, but her beauty was beginning to fade compared to her prime.
"My brother said Jessica has spent too much on cosmetic surgery."
What? I was shocked again. Has she been undergoing surgery to maintain her looks? At 50, she had unnaturally flawless skin. "I bet she used our products and then said, 'You too can have skin like this,' and sold them." Emily's sharp comment came. "I see, that's what happened," I thought, impressed.
"What's wrong with that? Cosmetic surgery is an investment. You can quickly recoup the cost."
Is that really true? I wondered. People are starting to notice the phoniness in your carefully crafted, deceitful speeches. Sales probably aren't as good as they used to be. After all, there are people like my daughter who quickly realized how scary and dangerous she is. "I've been thinking since I was in the hospital. I need to clearly state what's to be left behind."
"Then hurry up and give me the key to the safe deposit box,"
Jessica said with a smile. "I've decided to leave everything to Michael and Lisa," Mary continued.
"What are you talking about? I'm your daughter. I have a rightful claim."
"I've realized through this experience that you'll do anything to get what you want, no matter who gets hurt or unhappy."
"That's terrible, Mom. How can you say that to your own daughter?"
Jessica burst into tears. "Cut the fake crying, Aunt Jessica," Emily said mercilessly. I'll make a proper will. Even then, you have your legitimate share, so just be content with that.
No way, I can't accept such a small amount.
I wasn't sure how small it was, but Jessica's true feelings were finally coming out.
Anyway, Mom is still healthy, and even if there is an inheritance, that's a long way off. That's true, and it's not cash but land, so it's not easy to liquidate. But that's easy to solve. Just sell the land, liquidate it, and give it as a living gift. That way we don't have to wait for Mom to pass away.
It was as if she was openly admitting she was waiting for her mother to die. What are you saying? Please leave. There's nothing more to discuss with you, Jessica.
That's right, Jessica. Don't set foot in this house again,
Michael added. I feel the same way, Mary said. Goodbye, Aunt Jessica, Emily coldly concluded. Jessica's beautiful face twisted like a demon as she glared at us and left. About half a year later, Jessica's husband Tom visited us.
I plan to divorce Jessica,
he said. Since then, there has been no word from Jessica, and none of us were surprised.
All this time, my sons and I were living under Jessica's control without realizing it. But now I know we can't go on like this. I realize now that Jessica's control over the family was perfect, he said.
You weren't just dependent on her, you were controlled to be dependent, I said.
Do you understand?
He said, looking as if he might cry. Even after all that, Jessica didn't learn and continued getting cosmetic surgeries.
She kept going to a cheap, less skilled hospital, getting surgeries, failing, and then getting more surgeries. No matter how much my sons and I tried to stop her, she wouldn't listen. To be honest, I'm scared to look at her face now. It's in a terrible state.
I recalled seeing a woman on TV whose face was disfigured after botched surgeries.
My sons are planning to come with me, he said. I've decided to leave the condo to Jessica and move out.
I heard he was a rising star among his peers. If his success was thanks to Jessica's control, then things must have been going well for a while. Surprisingly, the divorce was finalized quickly. Perhaps Jessica didn't want her sons to see her disfigured face every day. Jessica quit her health and beauty business and now works a night shift cleaning buildings, avoiding being seen. The seemingly perfect Jessica is no more. One day, Emily brought home a kitten from her veterinary internship.
A cat? You know I have trauma with cats.
Michael recalled his childhood cat. Oh, the cat we gave away to the Smiths on Elm Street, Mary said. Jessica told me not to tell Michael because he might go and take it back, but I forgot all about it, Mary replied. I see, that's what happened, I thought, feeling relieved. He was genuinely relieved, having feared the worst outcome. But what made him think that way were Jessica's countless psychopathic behaviors. Dad, can you name her? Emily asked, seeing Michael's joyful dilemma. How about Julie? She's beautiful and elegant, just like her, Mary suggested. It seems the kitten's name will be Julie. You know, I've been thinking about selling the land. We can't take it with us to the afterlife, so I thought maybe we could use the money for a family trip. And it could also be used as funding when Emily opens her veterinary clinic, Mary continued. Oh, Grandma, that's still a long way off, but that would be wonderful, Emily said, both surprised and happy. Jessica's sons are still students and could use the money too, so I'm thinking of formalizing a living gift, Mary added. That sounds good to me, I agreed. After all, it was a property we didn't even know existed. If it can make the living happier, that's the best use. And Lisa, Mary said, this is the main topic. Wait, that wasn't the main topic? I was surprised. Next year, let's go to Julie's concert together and let's make it a grand affair, Mary declared. What? That's what you wanted to talk about? I was taken aback. But of course, I agreed. I'll follow you anywhere, whether it's a concert, on a luxury cruise, or overseas, I replied, laughing. Michael and Emily watched us with amused smiles.